Well, let's move on then, shall we?
Now the Oaks.
Correct.
Now I have got a view here.
Good.
This is a much more interesting race.
Right. Wasn't that strongly run a race, really. We didn't get a particularly good overall time, did we? 2 minutes 36.09, not a particularly good speed figure either.
No.
But should we just pick out the winner?
We extensively dealt with this on Derby Day, of course.
We did, but we can do it again.
Of course we are.
This is a different programme.
Different show, yeah.
Different show.
It's like
different
being on
audience.
It's like being on both This Morning and Richard and Judy back in the day, isn't it? Yeah. You can still do the same routine.
You ever been on either of those?
Different audiences.
No?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I don't want to rule it out.
Right, where we go. Anapurna wins the Oaks and beats Pink Dogwood, Fleeting and Manuel de Vega.
Right, so we covered this, we broke this down extensively on Saturday morning. So as Angus says, for those that didn't watch that, the first 2 furlongs of this race were good. The pace was level with the Coronation Cup pace to that path. And then, as we'll see visually, the jockeys put the handbrake on, weighed anchor. And so the next 6 furlongs there we can see it's Sylvester de Souza leading the charge. And Anapurna, the eventual winner in those wonderful Helena Springfield colours that are so iconic and associated with so many brilliant middle distance horses over the years. The perfect position. And as we'll see, Angus, later in the race, she didn't have to go around the horse. She barely had to pass any horses at full flight either.
Just fell into her lap.
She kind of just ran a time trial and the whole race fell apart round her pretty ears. And she wasn't the best horse in the race on sectionals. She wasn't even the second best horse in the race on sectionals. She basically ran the race the most efficiently thanks to a classic Derby Oaks ride from Frankie Dettori. That catbird seat, going around the shortest way, sat third. Let's go back to the Dogwood.
Let's find them. There's Anapurna.
Right.
And you've got to go right back. Keep going.
Yeah.
To find the dog.
And then Fleeting.
And then Fleeting.
Even further back. That's in there. Her there, sorry, yeah.
To there.
So the maths of this are that to this point, apologies if I'm boring you, but the maths to this point are that the advantage gained by Anapurna over Pink Dogwood and over Fleeting has been achieved cheaply, because when the speed of a race is low, the energy cost of running is low, and so what happens then is that when the field eventually quicken, those lengths become exponentially more expensive to gain back. Those are the mechanics of a race, of pace. So a horse who runs her or his race closest to even pace gains a huge advantage. That's basically pace 101, the fundamentals of the situation. So this is a massive advantage in energetic terms to Anapurna over Pink Dogwood and Fleeting, because the pace to this point was much slower than evens.
So at this point she has a definite advantage given how the race has been run and where she is positioned. But Pink Dogwood is able to make up those lengths, and boy does she do that quickly, and that's what got her beat.
Yeah, it was. Now, sectional times cannot tell you the reasons why things happen. They can only basically tell you what did happen, and sometimes they struggle to even do that. But on this occasion, it is pretty clear what happened, that Pink Dogwood was asked to accelerate by Ryan Moore, and either she's not fully a mile and a half stare, or maybe she just surprised Ryan, who's such a good judge of pace normally. But really her effort from 4 out, where we are now, 4 out, wow, that almost, wow, it's getting so sensitive now. Let me take a step back.
Your powers are amazing. No.
4 out down to 1.
Here she goes, she's surging now down the outside.
And she runs this section of the course much faster than Anapurna. Meanwhile, at the back of the field, Fleeting has started the charge in the pink colours belatedly. So now the cost of running is extremely high. It's very difficult for a horse to gain that. Look, you can see for yourself, hardly anything is gaining on anything else because it's so difficult for horses to run any faster.
Grinding out her
she just
12s.
keeps flopping away, and because she's got that ridiculously stout staying approach to life, she gets Pink Dogwood, who's run a race far less efficiently. Now, is it that Pink Dogwood will prove best at 10? I don't know. Not necessarily. No. She ran the race better than Anapurna over 12. Could it be that there was something else at play? Maybe Anapurna was, I don't know, unbalanced and then around. Sectionals can't tell you that.
I think you're overcomplicating that.
I'm trying to find some reasons for conjecture. But the facts as much are, and the facts are indisputable, that from the start of the race to the end of the race, the physics tells you that Pink Dogwood used the most energy and Fleeting used the second most energy and Anapurna the third most energy. Now what will happen in the future? Maybe they'll run over different distances. Maybe they'll get different rides. Who knows? But on the day, whether you believe in sectionals or not, you would find that if you tried to, if this was a law court and you tried to prosecute the fact that Anapurna was the best horse in the race, you would lose the case, provided the judge wasn't bent, because you would bring in an expert who would tell you that simply Anapurna ran harder from the start to the finish. She reached a much higher top speed than Anapurna. She did it for a couple of furlongs, but her effort was mistimed, not because Ryan Moore isn't very good at riding. He is very, very good indeed at riding, but it's just one of those things. It's the way races pan out. A jockey asks a horse to quicken. Sometimes it jumps out of his hands. Sometimes it takes a while to respond.
Right, that's the Oaks done then, done and dusted. What about the Coronation Cup, which was it provided something of a shock really. Defoe was the winner for Roger Varian and Andrea Tzeni, a day when Andrea Tzeni had 3 winners. He got the better of Kew Gardens, James.
Well, henceforth known as De Slow in some quarters, this horse, because he hadn't really appeared to have the foot. But he certainly had the foot today, Angus, didn't he? There you can see that's more like the old. I was watching this race thinking, yeah, there we go. But he was about to prove me spectacularly wrong.
He just took a while to get into his stride, but he picked the bridle up then, and he's done this well. This is a good time, unlike the Oaks and the Derby. Produced a pretty good figure. He beats Kew Gardens and Salouen, and this was running a completely different style to the Oaks, as we showed on Saturday.
This is just a solid pace, and really, if you look at the riders' hands on the leaders here, you can see what's happening. They're going forward rather than taking back, and Communique is pushing the pace in the middle section of the race. So after the first 2 furlongs to the end of the first mile, this was a much faster pace on the sectionals. Of course, it should be faster because they're better horses. They're 14 pounds more mature in terms of the weight for age scale, which is so they're 7 lengths for a mile and a half more mature.
See the first 2 sat out the back at the moment. Kew Gardens on the outside, and Defoe being ridden a little bit for luck down on the inside. Salouen, who ran so well in the race last year and nailed by Cracksman late on, he sat in second, and he attended that strong pace throughout.
This is what I hate, though, right? I hate this is type of analysis. This is the type of analysis.
Can I tell you what you're going to say?
Hate.
You don't like. It must have been a strong gallop because the winner's there and the second's there.
It's just such bogus analysis. We have this every day of the week. You watch it. You need to know how fast they're going.
I was just pointing out where they were.
You're spot on, because these are the 2 best horses in the race, but the horse who's third runs its figure, running the race the way it does, because probably in this race, ideal pace was, can I borrow a bar?
You've got your own.
I have got my own. Is this the same as your bar?
Yeah.
I'll borrow a bar, and I'm going to try and drop a bar live.
Go on. Go on. You'll have to get a bit nearer. No. Well done. Good work.
A leading expert shortly ago just told me I didn't need to do that. Anyway, that's probably where kind of ideal pace was, whatever. So those horses behind are kind of slightly back of it because they're strong stairs. And these horses are slightly forward of it because they're keen going horses. So no one's at a disadvantage, no one's at an advantage in this race. The best 2 horses happen to be sat at the back.
So what?
They're just running. Race is about pace. Racing is about pace, not position. People are obsessed with position, but it's more about pace, really. Horses are running their own time trials.
So Ryan will angle to the outside in a moment on Kew Gardens, and Defoe's just looking for a little bit of room down on the inside.
Every time I watch these Epsom races, I think how jockeys have to just kind of subvert all fear while riding around.
They do. If you're under Tzeni, you do on the grade. Defoe. He's just gained a length or so there around the bend on Kew Gardens. Kew Gardens a little bit wider, giving away a little bit more ground. You can see here he's widest of all, Ryan, but he does produce a burst of pace now, Kew Gardens, to just about get himself to the front. Indeed, he traded very short for the in-running boys. I think he traded at the minimum.
But this is different to Pink Dogwood, Angus. People want to make this the same as Pink Dogwood. It isn't the same as Pink Dogwood because this horse didn't stop the same way Pink Dogwood did. It ran right to the line.
He kept going.
It's just that Defoe, bless him, look at that long grey stride now. He's really reaching out. I'll teach you for calling me De Slow, he's saying. Not looking too slow now, am I, as I win the Coronation Cup? Idiots.
And Kew Gardens isn't stopping. Look how far he's pulled clear of Salouen.
Whereas the Dogwood was coming back to the pack. Thanks.
That's all right.
I made that point fairly clear now, I think.
You don't need to do that again.
No.
Right. You just see the passage that Andrea Tzeni is going to get now. You don't often get this at Epsom. You very rarely get a rundown on the inside, but Luckily enough, Old Persian in the Godolphin Blue was very disappointing on the back of what he did in Dubai winning the Shima Classic. He's dropped away.
He moved badly to post, I thought.
He did.
Ruby Walsh, actually. Ruby Walsh debut on top class flat racing,
Yes.
absolutely sensationally good, as advertised, no surprise there. He picked it up if you were listening at home. He said, this is a moderate walker. I looked at it, I thought, it's not normally that moderate a walker. I watched the horse go to post and I thought to myself at home, he's not moving great at all. And so I thought that was a fantastic piece of analysis by Ruby there.
Back to Ascot for him, I'd have thought Old Persian Hardwick Stakes, something like that.
Ruby?
Not
We're not
Ruby,
going to, we haven't got Ascot anymore. We don't want him.
Old Persian.
I can't borrow him for Ascot.
No,
We'll be sending him to some outpost of Catterick or somewhere during that meeting.
I think we've got Thursday. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's the finish?
No, just stand still. That is the end of part one.
End of the show or end of part one?
One.
End of part one.
You need to listen more.